So my mast is down. It's been down over a week or so this time. Carried it with me to Michigan. But I'm getting ready to put it back up. So basically what I've got is my 4-foot poles. So my 4-foot poles, my guy rope with my guy ring, and then I'm going to have a topper on the top of it. Let me go grab that real quick. So here's the topper. It generally looks a little bit better, but I just cut some excess fat off of it. Essentially what it is the standard topper for the net support poles. 2 sides out and then sandwiched in between some 1-inch lumber with the void there in the center for the adapter to go in. Pulleys on each end with my rope. I'm gonna have to repaint this again next time I take it down, just to help give it a little more protection from the weather. There are a few cracks in this because every time I let it down, this portion does come down in kind of a controlled fall by me pulling on and guiding it down with the ropes on each side from each pulley. That just slips on, so I generally will slip it off, tug in with the ropes and guide it down in a controlled fall. Alright, so, well, I'm going to get to work here and start getting things set up so that I can start getting it raised in the air. So to do that, I've put my piece of PVC in the ground here by the tree, and I'm going to use the tree as a back lean since I figured it up by myself today. So I'll use the tree as the back lean and get my guys tied off, and then I will start running stuff up. Alright. I will come back and record a little bit more as I'm working through it. Unfortunately, it just started drizzling a little bit, so I'm going to start getting my poles put together here. Okay, so what I've done here, I've got the top piece on it. I've got my first 2 poles. First 2 poles are ready. Here's my 3rd pole. My 3rd pole's got my first guy ring set on it. Probably only use 1 set of guy rings today. So this pole is getting ready to go into the bottom of that. So that'll be my first 3 pole stack. And then I'll start feeding additional poles in from the bottom. I'll probably try and rest it on one of the limbs up there as I go up. And then I'll straighten it out and get it all pulled vertical and straight with my guys. So you see what I'm doing is as I'm stacking, I'm just pushing it a little bit higher, leaning it into the tree as I continue to go up and up and up and up. Then once I get it to the point, I'll start getting my guy wires. Not really wires, they're ropes. Get my guy ropes tied in, and I'll start straightening it out. Whenever I do that, I'll actually put a strap or a piece of rope around the trunk of the tree and around the pole to keep it from completely fall in one direction or another. I'll get it all straight, get it tensioned out, straight, and vertical in the air, and then I'll run a wire end to knot it. Alright, so let's keep on moving here. We have a ratchet strap around the bottom pole. That's so whenever I go to lift it up and drop it into the pipe, it cannot kick back out on it. If you look up here, you can see I'm resting on that limb with the top sitting over and behind it, ready to come up vertical. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the pipe down, and vertical and setting into my PVC cup that I put here. Once I've got that in the PVC cup, I'm going to leave it leaning against the tree, and I'm going to loosely secure my back guy rope. At the point in time that I loosely secure my back guy rope, I'm going to come over and I will loosely secure my left guy rope over in a tent stake that way. And then whenever I go to secure the guy rope that's going to be on my tent stake over there, I'm going to start pulling it vertical. Once I get it vertical, it could decide to flop forward on me. If it decides to flop forward on me, I'll leave some slack on my third guy rope and go back and try and straighten it out with my rear guy rope. I'll then continue running circles until I get it straight up and down and vertical with tensioning the three guy ropes equally. Just to show you, I don't have the ratchet strap extremely tight, so I can lift this one hand with me still using my phone to record the video. I can't get it up too high because I've only got one hand, but you can see I'm lifting it. I could put my foot completely under it, which probably isn't the smartest thing to do, but just show you that I'm completely lifting it with one hand. So, you know, it's not that the structure is extremely heavy. It's just long. So, right, we have to deal with that with the guy ropes. So now you see, I've got it down in the PVC. I still have my ratchet strap on it for the time being. And I'm up and I'm vertical. I just have to start tensioning my guy ropes. So that's what we're going to do now. I generally prefer to use the orange screw-in pegs, but one of them I lost, so I'm having to use a couple of yellow ones for one of my guys for the time being. It'll be okay. I will just double it up and make sure I'm extremely safe. So as you can tell, this guy rope is tied off, doubled, cinched, and with this one I should have my directionality correct, so I should have it far enough in this direction so I can start adding tension to the other guy rope, straighten it. So I'm a little further along than what I was anticipating before I came back to record again. As you can see, my center is there. I've got all of my wires fanned out, my 10-meter wire, my 20-meter wire, my 40-meter wire, and then lastly up there is my 80-meter wire. So I've got all those fanned out, and that's why it's called a fan dipole. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and hoist these on up and get it centered up and tightened up, and we'll come back and get one last video of the entire system. Okay, so here we are, about an hour and a half in, and I have a 4-band fan antenna raised up. This would be 9 times 4. So this is about 34 feet or so. I'll add a few more extensions later in the week as I need to work some of the longer bands, and we'll go from there. So again, here we are, mast. I do still have my strap around the tree. I'll actually let that go tomorrow once I move my rope off and tie it to the pole. Right now I'm going to go test my SWR, my radio inside, and make sure everything's good. And that's where we are. So that is actually holding the 2 antennas, the multiband fan, and a 20-meter delta loop. So that said, like I said, I'm going to go in and test my SWR, make sure the antennas are all working okay, and then see if I can make any contacts. So as you can see, it's a 2-inch, maybe 2.5-inch diameter pole, 4-foot stacking sections, no cement pad, no concrete, no 6-foot guy stakes having to be driven into the ground permanently to tie my guy ropes or guy wires off to. I'm simply using tent stakes, and that is sufficient for the load.